It is Derby Day. It's been Derby week, and you are at the right place with the Sport Rap Saturday studio with Diana Master and Ashwin Betty as we take you through everything Derby Day, Derby week. It's going to be wonderful. TRUSTCO United and Wanderers clashing, locking horns in multiple disciplines, Diana.
Yes, I mean rugby, netball.
Yes, we're going to be showing you the main netball game. The main rugby game will be crossing over to make sure that, you know, even if you didn't manage to make it to the stadium, you can still be at home in the comfort of your own braai and enjoying the lovely sports of netball and rugby. But I believe Brian Munango, one of our sports editors, had some words to say about Wanderers.
Definitely. So he actually published an article just a few days ago, and we'll just run you through it. So like you highlighted earlier, we can expect a showdown today as TRUSTCO United and FNB Wanderers meet in their annual derby at the United Field today in a few hours.
In just a few hours. In just a few hours. The netball gets going already. Yes.
So now the two clubs will compete in various mutual sporting events, namely rugby, cricket T20, netball and no-ball. The senior netball game and NRU Premier League rugby game will be broadcast live on DSTV channel 285, your favorite TV station, of course. And our online, channel 1up2.com. At the photo session of the team captains and coaches on Tuesday at the TRUSTCO United Sports Club, Wanderers first team rugby captain scrum half Jacques Durand said, "We made a statement at the beginning of the season, winning the Castle Light United tennis-side tournament, and we will also want to win the Premier League. This weekend will be another chance for us to move in the right direction."
That's big talk. That's big talk. Of course, you know, Wanderers has been rather consistent, but last year's Derby Day, United managed to come away with that one. If I'm not mistaken, it was just by 3 points. So it could also, I mean, look, United is hearing everything about Castle Light Seas, but as far as they're concerned, they're like, excuse me, there's a day dedicated to us clashing. You're talking about Castle Light, whether it's Castle Milk Stout,
whichever
Castle that you're talking about, we are going to be clashing. And this is also something I love about Derby Day, the camaraderie. You can see the captains there, and you can see the different teams. Wanderers represented by the color white, TRUSTCO United represented by the color blue. The people are really going to be, you know, giving their all. Let's have a look at the fixtures for today, for this entire Derby week. Actually, as soon as we can pull them up, we'll get into them. But like we said, it's not just going to be rugby. It's going to be netball. It has been netball. It's been going on through the week, but Derby Day is when it all happens. So media photo session, as you know, is on the 23rd of April. Netball Golden Oldies, that was on the 25th of April. 26th was the cricket T20 as well as the Knoble. And today, First League Netball, United Netball Court. This is going to be at 12:30 right here on NTV. We will cross over to that. It will be followed by the Rugby Women's League, the Rugby Reserve League, and then the Premier League Rugby United Sports Ground at 4 p.m. live on NTV. I love it.
I'm absolutely looking forward to it, to be honest. Like you said, Derby Day always brings around so much energy.
Oh yeah, everything's at stake.
Everything is at stake. And you know, everyone is confident in what their team can do.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, you look at the likes of people like Fanny du Plessis, who I've had the absolute pleasure, the honor to commentate with. And he's a United guy, you know what I'm saying? And when he talks about Derby Day, he's not talking about today. He's talking decades worth of rivalry. You're going to see a lot of good people, a lot of gentlemen, because rugby fosters that. But I promise you, there won't be a lot of well wishes to go around when it comes to these two teams. Of course, the coolest thing about Derby Day, they've got their champagne. That just before the rugby game, that's when the men, the two captains come through. They share a glass of champagne before the game, and then the game gets going. I like that. But as you can see, it's going to be netball, TRUSTCO United versus Wanderers. We're going to be crossing over to that at 12:30 to make sure you don't miss any of the action. Yes, it's going to be exciting. We'll swing back to the netball. We'll build up the netball as we should. But for now, let's swing back to rugby, because it's not just about Derby Day. United versus Wanderers, this is also going to affect them on the rugby log. As you know, there's a bigger competition happening right now. The Wanderers captain couldn't help but talk about it, JD. Now, you couldn't help but talk about it. You know, you say Castle Light, but he's like, hey, you know what we're also really working towards, and there's a lot at stake right now, and it's going to be incredible to see how the teams approach it. But I have to say, it's also a very somber weekend, considering the funeral that's going to be taking place, and I do think it's going to bring an extra spiritual aspect to this, or a different mentality, because these are folks that you're used to rubbing shoulders with, and obviously our hearts go down to the families that have lost these dear rugby players. And like we said, for the players themselves, I assume there's going to be a moment of silence. I hope there is. Whether it is on or off screen, we'll see how that goes.
Yes.
But that's another aspect. It's a cloud. It's something to keep in mind. But then there's always this opportunity to remember that you're doing what they loved to do. And if there's one thing that they would love to see you continue doing, is playing rugby. And if you can play, keeping them in mind, keeping them in your hearts, then, you know, all the better.
I honestly feel like you're saying, there will probably be a moment of silence. And I feel like for the first few minutes, that will in a way impact the game, because everybody's still trying to get into that. Everybody's still trying to get in the right headspace. So as much as, yes, there's so much at stake, and of course it's always big talk from both teams, you know, and their supporters and everybody that is involved in it. But then now, of course, remembering these players, remembering the coach, remembering all these, the young lives lost.
Absolutely. And you know, just namely, you know, it was it was the FNB Rehoboth Falcon Rugby Club chairman Etienne Coetzee, two of his sons, Edmando Ethan, and a friend, Greshlin Brouwer, who plays rugby. His brother also played rugby. These are the folks that we will be remembering today as we say goodbye to them. But of course, again, it's going to be an opportunity for, like we were saying right now, to come together, playing the sport they love. Of course, there's going to be a lot of rugby players who will attend the funeral, and of course, you know, this is Africa. People have been, you know, visiting the family and passing on their condolences. So like I said, you know, it's going to be a bit of a cloud around it. But ultimately, we can find solace in the fact that if the gentlemen were with us today, they'll be doing the same thing.
They'll be doing the same thing. You know, I was walking in Fernhill, I think 2 days ago, and I actually saw a memorial in one of the shops for, you know, the Coetzee family and the Gruber family.
Truly needed.
So it, like you're saying, man, it's one of those days where, yes, as much as it's an exciting day, it's fun-filled,
it's just something that you're thinking about.
Exactly. It's in the back of your mind. You can't not think about it.
You can't not think about it, So, but let's see how it goes. Of course, like I said, it is Derby Day. There's plenty to be excited about. And like I said, you know, in this moment, rugby is going to unite us in more ways than one. Let's have a look at the rugby log before we get into the rugby games today, to see how, you know, how the folks are going to be, what's at stake for them, you know, in particular. It's different teams, obviously, playing each other today. We also look at the rugby fixtures, but this is how the log goes. FNB UNAM 1 sitting at the top, having played 5. FNB Kudus 1 are right behind them. FNB Wanderers, they're third, you know, and you know they've got a game in hand. We know, and that game is being played today, and they're going to hope to fetch maximum points over there. Grootfontein, they're going to be taking on Kudus. We'll get into a story about that a little later. Let's see how they fare. And TRUSTCO United, an opportunity to, you know, really jump up the table. 7 points, well, you know, to at least get themselves closer to the top 4. They're going to be relishing the challenge today as they face FNB Wanderers at the Derby Day. FNB Rehoboth follows TRUSTCO United 6th on the log, and it's Western Suburbs on 7th. It's Rio Falcon sitting on 8th. Let's have a look at the fixtures for the rugby, the teams that are going to be clashing today. It's not just Derby Day, it's different teams playing. Rio Falcon, that's going to be the team that's also saying goodbye to Mr. Etienne, and certainly it's going to be a very strong showing for them, I can expect. So they're going to be taking on Dolphin 1. Grootfontein, as I said, are going to be taking on Kudus. Rehoboth 1 facing Western Suburbs. And as you know, Derby Day, United 1 versus Wanderers 1. That one will come to you at exactly 4 p.m. But we spoke about Grootfontein. Yes, indeed. They are going to be looking forward to the Kudus challenge, you know, and, you know, a huge part of their strength is certainly their heavy pack of forwards. You know what I mean? Those Grootfontein guys. Hey, man, you know, there's the handshake, you know, we always do as guys. Man, you have to watch your shoulders with some of these rugby guys. You know what I mean? For me, it's a greeting. For you, it's assault, brother. You don't have to be that strong. They've got extra muscles when they don't need muscle, but they're big lads. They're big lads. And of course, you know, when you've got a solid forward pack, ask the Springboks about that. Things tend to go your way because there's little to nothing you can do when you're dealing with folks who are going to be that focused. So they're going to be hosting FNB Kudus, who also boast a solid pack and are able to stand their ground against any team. Although the Walvish Bay team will be traveling without some key forwards, fans will want anyone representing the jersey to make sure that they give a thorough account of themselves. Now, a win for either team will be of value to consolidate a top 4 position. Kudus are placed second on the log with 20 points from 5 matches, recording 4 wins and a loss, and on their way to scoring 23 tries. Now, Grootfontein, among the early pace setters in the Namibia Rugby Union Premier League, find themselves in the 4th spot with 14 points after 4 matches, and they managed to score 15 tries. So we're going to see how Grootfontein and Kudus take on each other. It's going to be quite the game.
Okay, so honestly speaking, I feel like in a way, when you're missing key players, that somewhat affects the morale. Not just of the team, but I think the supporters and the fans as well. Like you're saying, that whoever is going to be wearing that jersey, they need to bring their all.
The job has to be done.
You know, the job has to be done. You have so much more to prove. You have to show people, okay, you know what? We need the supporters to see that we can do way more, right? Because they have a point to prove.
Absolutely.
No one wants to be the one that brought the team down. So
No one wants to be. And I think we've got the Grootfontein team huddle somewhere there in our media. We'll see if we can load that. But like I said, everybody's going to want to make sure that they put their best foot forward. But here's the other thing, you know, when you don't have key players missing on the field, when you have key players missing, you know, for different reasons, even, I mean, considering this funeral weekend, we're not really going to ask who's there and why they can't be there. We understand that. But there's also been guys who've been, they've been working for that jersey.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
They've been on the bench. Maybe they've been coming on for 5 minutes and 10 minutes. And for them now, it's an opportunity to keep the jersey.
Yes, and to show what they can do.
To show what they can do. But of course, you know, sometimes it comes down to team chemistry. Certain people have been playing together for long enough to not, you know, to have way more non-verbal cues than you normally would with someone else. So, you know, does that affect the communication? But ultimately, look, it's the same team. You guys, you practice together. You play the game together. And, you know, you get things done together.
And at the end of the day, they're working for a common goal.
Yes,
so
yes, indeed.
It's one of those things where, like you're saying, you have to prove that, okay, you know what, I deserve this jersey, so I'm going to keep it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think everybody is going to definitely be bringing their A game. I feel like we will see some of those players that, like you're saying, that come on for like 5-10 minutes. We're going to be seeing them prove a point, and we're going to be like, okay, you know what, you earned it. You earned it.
That's right. So just now we're going to take a short break. Before we return, this time we're going to be talking about Namibia's under-20 rugby team, which has been playing in Zimbabwe at the Barties Cup.
So the action is not just happening here in Namibia. I mean, the juniors traveled to Zimbabwe.
Yes, they did.
For the Barties Cup.
A country you and I may or may not know about. Yeah, we may have some ideas. It looks a
Okay.
little familiar.
All right, so let's get into it. So a talented Zimbabwe team overshadowed Namibia 35-23 in a decisive match at the Rugby Africa Under-20 Barties tournament in Harare. A loud home crowd encouraged the Zimbabweans on Wednesday afternoon, and although the Namibians improved in some respects on the first day's defeat against Kenya, their claim to appear in the final is gone. At halftime, the Namibians trailed 11-17, but they were still within striking distance for longer periods in the game than when they had to make up a big deficit on day one before Kenya sank them 34-28 with the last move. Nevertheless, though, Namibia could not prevent the host team from showing, to the great amusement of their fans, why they are well placed to write a hat-trick after their Rugby Africa titles of 2022 and 2023.
All right, very interesting day. I mean, look, yes, the guys have won the titles. Namibia would actually be underdogs in this particular case, but I think Namibia is definitely taking strides in the right direction. I mean, we've got junior players going to play for some of the best leagues in the world, and you know, hopefully we'll be able to cultivate that in a way that it shows in the under-20s. So hopefully you lads are not discouraged. Another story, a big story from this weekend. You know, we like money. We like money, but especially when money is put to good use. JSB Betting announced the extension of its Namibia Rugby Union partnership. This with a 500,000 Namibian dollar sponsorship towards the Namibian Rugby Referees Association. Jason Zook, the director of JSB Betting, made the announcement at the NRU's headquarters at the Hage Geingob Stadium. He said, "We have aligned ourselves with the long-term vision of the NRU to grow the game and make it all inclusive. We have certainly stepped up our game because we are not just here for the short term, and we want to improve opportunities for Namibians." Now we're looking forward to seeing more orange on the field and fewer yellow and red cards. I like that. Nice little clip over there. But you know, you come to, I mean, you come to understand, you don't have to say it, but we are playing sport.
Yes.
And it is very important to make sure that the referees are well taken care
Yes.
of for more reasons than one. You know what I'm saying? I think over there they were displaying their referees jerseys. It's going to be very interesting to see how that looks on the field. But it is good. A lot of the referees, and I remember Fanny telling me this over commentating, the referees for the most part have been donating their time, Diana.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. For the most part, they've been donating their time. And,
just for the love of the game?
Just for the love of the game,
Wow.
for the love of making sure that the game always goes the right way and it's well officiated. So to see JSB Sports Betting, you know, showing up in such a manner, we love it. And ultimately, it contributes to the fairness of the game. But it's time for us to start sending you where you need to go, which is the netball clash that is happening just now. Derby Day, TRUSTCO United versus Wanderers. The first thing we're going to talk about is just some team news from Wanderers. The Wanderers Ruby's team earned another victory in their game against Oshodonjupa Nampo. That was in the past weekend. And Ruby's captain Bernie Hatting secured the player of the match. This was in their games against UNAM Jaguars. So these are the two teams that are going to be clashing just now as we prepare to cross over to United. Diana, netball. Look at that. That's the Wanderers team over there. I noticed a colleague of ours there. We're not going to say who it is. There's a colleague of ours.
If you know, you know. If you don't, then
If you don't,
forget about it.
Then forget about it. Don't think about it. Yeah, but that's the Wanderers netball team. And that's the TRUSTCO United netball team. And they are preparing to clash right now as we continue with Derby Day.
I feel like because Wanderers earned another victory, like just a few days ago, they're going to be going in with all the excitement, all the energy.
They're doing very well in the league as well.
Exactly, and they don't want to slip up. So what they're going to be doing, we can expect, I feel like it's going to be a very tightly contested match because, again, everybody has a point to prove. It's Derby Day.
It's Derby Day.
You don't want to let go of something so close.
And
like,
there's no such thing as an advantage as Derby Day. Derby Day, it's not just about the skills, it's also about the spirit, it's also about the fans. And NTV will absolutely be taking you through it all. TRUSTCO United versus Wanderers from Diana Master and Ashwin Berry. We're going to catch you right after the netball match.